Are you desiring more out of life? More love, more connection, more experience, just more aliveness? Well, that is your soul calling you, and together we are going to uncover those soul desires and help you bridge the gap between your physical life and your true soul self. Welcome to the Suddenly Spiritual Podcast. My name is Emilee. I'm an intuitive, a psychic medium, and someone who recently and very suddenly awakened to spirituality. On this podcast, we are going to talk all about connecting with your soul to live your fullest, most beautiful life. We're going to talk about spirituality from the perspective of the everyday person. It's my goal that you feel seen and supported on this journey of discovering your soul and awakening to the incredible world of spirit. Let's get started. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Suddenly Spiritual Podcast. It's me, Emilee, your host. I am so happy to have you here for this episode. This episode is extra special for me because I am introducing you to something that I have been working pretty hard on. Over the last couple months, I have been really contemplating about my own personal process of going from someone who was pretty darn dissatisfied with life, someone who was really disconnected from myself. I felt just dissatisfied in the life that I had built. And to go from that to now where I can hear my intuition, I feel very connected to myself, connected to spirit. My life is being rebuilt in a very intentional way. And I feel so fulfilled. And this transformation has been major. And I've been thinking a lot about how that happened, how that major change happened. What was the process? Because it's been so life changing. I just know that this is part of what I'm meant to share with the world. So, over the last few months, I've been thinking a lot about this, trying to break it down into an actual process, into the real steps that I took. And through a lot of meditation with spirit, a lot of reflection, I've narrowed it down to 4 really specific areas of my life that I worked on in order to make these major changes. And what I've done is put this process into a workbook that you can download. I've put it into a private podcast that you can listen to. And you guys, I'm giving this to you all for free. This contains my exact process. It contains the information and the processes that you will use for an entire lifetime to continually discover your soul, continually learn how to support yourself, how to uncover your true desires, how to cultivate your self-confidence, how to connect with your intuition, how to feel guided and supported and loved, how to change your life from the inside out. This is magic, and I am really excited to offer it to you. Today's podcast episode, I'm actually going to go over a little introduction to some of the content that's in this free, I'm calling it the Meet Your Soul mini course. Meet Your Soul, the name, oh gosh, it sounds so intense, but I just can't get away from it. It's just the perfect name for what this process does. This process will let you meet your soul. It will let you know yourself, your true self. And part of what has sparked this is as I get a little more into social media and looking at other spiritual people in this space, I see so much of people saying, well, live your authentic life, live your true life, be your true self, be in your authenticity. And all of those messages are, yeah, you should do that. I agree. But there is a step that comes before that. Before you can live an authentic life, you have to know who the heck you are. And that piece was missing for me. And because it was missing for me, I know that it's also missing for a lot of other people. Because if there's one thing I know, as special as I feel, there's also billions of people in the world, and I am not so unique that no one else has this same problem that I had, where I just didn't even know who the heck I was. I had no idea who I was. So, the process that I'm sharing with you in the Meet Your Soul mini course and that I'll go over with you in this podcast episode is the actual steps, the actual processes that I went through to discover who I was. And by discovering who I was, learning to love and support myself, learning to really see my desires and then actually act on them and support myself through those actions, learning to do that has absolutely changed my life. Sure, now I can live an authentic life because now I know who I am. So, if you feel like you're missing the that first step, like the pre-work to living an authentic life, this is it. That is what is contained in this mini course. I keep calling it a mini course cuz I don't really know what else to call it, but it's a pretty extensive workbook that I've created that includes information, it includes journal prompts, real world actions that you can take in order to really get to know yourself, your true self, in a very intuitive and supportive way. It also includes access to a private podcast feed where you will receive audio lessons that go along with this workbook. I'm telling you, this is a lot of stuff to receive for free, and it is very high quality. I am so proud of this. It has my heart in it, and it is a gift that I am so happy to give. So, if you're interested already right away, you know that you want to access this, there'll be a link in the show notes where you can sign up to receive the mini course and get access to all of those goodies right in there. Just know that when you sign up, you will also be signed up for my email list that I am just starting. I can't tell you how often I'll email you because I'm still figuring that out. This is a slow growth business here, but I would anticipate you could hear from me about once a week. If you don't like my emails, I'm not offended if you unsubscribe. So there's always that option too. And if you just want to sign up because you want this mini course, you know that it's going to help you, but you don't really want to stay connected on my email list in the future, just still please download it because the information in this is so transformative. I just want to get it in your hands. I just want you to experience the same incredible clarity and purposefulness, aliveness, just that I feel now as a result of this work. So, stay on my email list or don't, I guess is what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter to me. Just please actually do the work. If you sign up, if you download this workbook, please look at it, read it, implement these strategies because I know that it can have such an incredible impact on your life. So, right now, today, I just want to talk to you about some of the content of this. I want to walk you through the process of meeting your soul, the process of truly getting to know yourself. So, in the Meet Your Soul mini course, I go over the 4 key areas that I really worked on to finally discover myself. The first thing that we talk about in the mini course is how to activate your intuition. That is area number 1, activating your intuition. So we start by reigniting your connection to yourself, your connection to your inner wisdom. Because what I know was true for me, and what I also just know is true for so many other people, is when we come to a point in our lives where we realize we don't really know ourselves very well, we start searching for who we are. We start looking all around us for who we are. We look at our career, we look at our role, maybe as a mom or as a daughter, as a parent. We look to other people just to tell us who we are, our financial status. We look anywhere except for inside, except for the thing that actually makes us who we are, and that is our soul. And so we start by reigniting that connection within, by moving from constantly seeking that external validation, everyone around us telling us what to do, think, be, and instead we get quiet and we go within. So, the workbook is going to walk you through different practices for connecting with your intuition, for really connecting with your soul, with who you truly are, because connecting with your intuition is that very first step to getting to know yourself. Through the intuition work, through the work of connecting with our soul, listening to our inner wisdom, we start to identify what are our core values? What do we actually want out of life? What does our soul want? And one of the questions I bring up in the workbook is one of the questions that's been so impactful to me on this spiritual journey. And it's so simple. It's just the question: what does my soul desire? It's so simple. But the importance of this question is that it takes us out of our brain. It takes us out of our ego, out of thinking of what we should do, how our life should look. And it takes us down into our heart and says, but what does my soul want? What is me? Me. What do I want? My soul, who I really am. What are the true desires here? And we start really working on building up that connection. And I give you different practices that you can do to build that connection, to really reignite that connection within with your inner wisdom. Now, the second area that we work on after we start building your intuition, after we start getting you to recognize that incredible wisdom that you have within you, is the second section. I've called it Upgrade Your Inner World. And this is where we talk about improving your inner dialogue. This is where we talk about self support. We talk about becoming aware of our thoughts. We talk about creating loving thoughts within. And really, the whole point of this is creating an environment where it's safe for us to be ourselves, where it's safe for us to dream, where it's safe for us to take risks, where it's safe for us to explore and to be ourselves. I think we live in this world where we're constantly fearing the judgment of other people. But the real judgment that really impacts us the most is the judgment that we have of ourselves. Because the truth is, we will never, ever know what anyone else is thinking. We will never know what other people are thinking. We can make assumptions, but we won't truly ever know. But we do know what we're thinking. And when our brain is full of negative thoughts about ourselves, we're creating an unsafe environment within. There's no room for us to make mistakes. There's no room for us to try new things. There's no room for us to change or evolve or grow when our inner world is full of judgment and criticism. So, this is such an integral part of discovering who you are, is creating a safe place within you so that you can explore that, so that you can be yourself, even if yourself is a big old weirdo. We need to have this safety and space within to express who we truly are, to drop some of that criticism, drop some of that judgment, and replace it with support, with love, with understanding, with care. So, in this second section, we start talking about creating inner compassion. We talk about doing actual acts of self love. We go through how we can take that inner compassion that we're building and bring it into the real world, because our thoughts and beliefs that we want to embody, we have to bring them into the world. That's how we really solidify those thoughts. That's how we show ourselves. Yeah, I'm thinking about how I love and care about myself, but now I'm going to do these actions. I'm really going to prove it. I'm really going to change my life in this way because I deserve it, because I love myself, because I want to support myself. And so in the mini course, we go through how to do that, how to set up those actions that are actually meaningful for you, because you are an incredible, unique being. And so acts of self love that are meaningful for me are going to be completely different than what is meaningful for you. The whole point of this course is to connect in with your soul, with your inner knowing, with your unique being, and then to act from there, to live from there, to let that uniqueness be expressed out into the world. And so when we talk about improving our inner dialogue, improving the way that we treat ourselves, it's going to be so specific to you. So we walk through how to set up this new inner dialogue, how to practice it, how to shift your thoughts, how to shift the way that you interact with yourself, and then how to live that out in the world with this new inner safety that we're creating and this connection to our intuition. Then we move into the third section, which is uncovering our true desires. Our true desires. This is where we start dreaming about the future. This is where we lean back on that internal safety, on that self compassion, on that non judgmental inner world that we are creating. We lean on that. We sit in that. We connect with our soul and we say, what do I really want out of this life? If there were no limitations, what would I do? Who would I be? Where would I go? We ask all of these questions and we let ourselves dream. This is so important. If you want to create a life that is authentically yours, you need to know what you want and you need to allow yourself to dream without limitation, without the way that we can kind of put down our dreams before we even fully dream them. And as we go through this big dream life practice, what we do is we then take that list of big dream life list and we compare it with our core values. We compare it with our soul's wants, with who we are, and we ask ourselves, is this my true desire? Or is this an expectation from the outside world that I've internalized? We look at each thing and we say, is this mine? Is this for me? And the important part is that before this moment, we've already worked on building up knowing who we are, knowing that connection to our soul, feeling that connection, and then also feeling safe to have these dreams, feeling safe to be ourselves, to connect with ourselves, and honoring our unique, beautiful soul that we get to express in this world. Our last and final section that I take you through is cultivating self confidence. And this is the section where we talk about not just how to think about our big dream life, not just how to think about who we are and do all of this internal work, but how to bring that work into the world, into our life, into how we are living so that we can make the big shifts in our lives so that the exterior world reflects our interior world, so that our life is an actual reflection of who we are and what we want and the unique way we are meant to exist in this lifetime. Something so important that we talk about in this section is the fact that self confidence is built on a foundation of self trust. Self confidence is really just self trust. It's trusting yourself enough to act on your desires, to take a risk. It's having that trust within. And true self-confidence, it comes from a loving environment within you, and it comes from the ability for you to act from that loving environment. In this mini course, in the audio lesson, and then in the workbook, we talk about how taking risks not only requires you to have bravery for what might happen externally. You can take a risk and you can fail. Obviously, that's why it's risky. And having the self-confidence to take those risks, it doesn't just come from being brave enough to weather the fact that you might fail in the world, but it also comes from having the trust within that you will be able to support yourself regardless of the outcome, of trusting yourself to make a good decision, trusting yourself to support yourself if things don't go how you want, trusting yourself that you can solve problems, that you can move through this, that you can lead yourself through these changes, through the steps that you want to take forward. Even if the steps that you want to take forward aren't major. When I think about living out as my soul self, living in the world as who I truly am, some of the fears that have come up aren't around doing anything crazy or major. It's not around like moving across the country or doing something really drastic. It's more about allowing myself to be seen, allowing people to see aspects of myself that I've hidden, allowing myself to be vulnerable with other people. And in those kind of risks, those risks that are not necessarily jumping off a cliff or, doing something huge and crazy to change your life, it's still so important to have that self trust. In order to have the self confidence to step out vulnerably, you have to have the self trust that you will support yourself through it, that you can decide what's a good choice for you, and that you trust your decision making, that you trust that you can move through it in a way where you feel supported, that you'll still love yourself at the end, that you're going to continue this inner dialogue of compassion. And so we talk about building that self confidence from self trust. And then from that place, we connect in with our intuition. We make our list of inspired actions and we go in the world and we freaking do it. And how amazing is that? These are the 4 areas of my life where I have made major changes over the last several years. And because of those major changes, I have seen major results. And I want you to have the same experience. I want you to feel the same sense of clarity, the same sense of inner knowing, of connection, and of love within. Because these foundational practices and focusing on these areas of your life will allow you to move in literally any direction in your life. It will support you forever. This is work that you can come back on in a year, in 10 years, in 20 years. These are the skills that will carry you through life because they're the skills that develop you internally. And throughout your life, there's only going to be one constant, one guaranteed constant through your entire life, and that's you. So improving your relationship with yourself should be your number one priority. You are the only constant in your life. You are the only thing that you can control in this life. And you have so much potential within you to create an incredible life that meets your unique soul, your unique desires, and lets you fulfill the purpose that you came here on this planet to do. You can end each day feeling fulfilled. You can live out each day feeling purposeful. You can have the capacity, the bravery to go after the things that are important to you and meaningful to you. And gosh, I'm sure you can tell. I just feel so passionately about this process, about the work that's been included in here. And if this sounds like something that you need, then I really hope that you will sign up, you'll check it out, and of course, let me know what you think. Let me know how it goes. I hope it's as impactful for you as it's been for me. And I'm just sending you so much love. I'll chat with you again soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Suddenly Spiritual podcast. I'm so grateful that I get to be part of your journey of spiritual expansion. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave a review for me on Apple Podcasts. It's a quick, free, easy way for you to support this podcast, and it helps me reach more people who are looking for support on their spiritual journey. You can find a link to leave a review in the show notes. Thank you so much, and I'll chat with you soon.